Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today is the 1st of April. Today is the first trading day of the new financial year. And in today's video, I'm going to go over the journey of the previous financial year, what it was like for me, what were the phases that I went through as a trader, how I performed, and just in general get a glimpse of the entire summary. It had its own ups and downs, but I think it was a great year. As of March ended, I think I've now completed 24 months without having a single month in the negative. And I take a lot of pride in that because even my drawdowns are more or less time drawdowns on a month on month basis. There are some months where, of course, I had a very bad performance, but more or less have had a green performance every month throughout. And as of today's trade, not much, no adjustment, nothing. I just entered a trade in the morning and exited it just as we were breaking the day's high because it looks like we were having quite a bullish buy. So entered the trade in the morning, had to adjust the trade sizing, so got a little delayed in the entry, so didn't get as good a price, almost got 2.5 rupees cheaper than the price I was looking at. Entered it and exited it. That's about it. Had a trailing stop loss, so I've covered that on Twitter anyway. So let's get into what the previous financial year was. It was a very good year for me, and to those who don't know, I opened this account beginning of the last financial year, and I transferred in my holdings and everything. So between 16th to 20th are the purchase prices in my portfolio. So I transferred all of my equity into this account, and as on that day, it was 3.67 crore. That was what the account value was once I transferred everything. From there, I have made steady withdrawals. I've withdrawn about 55 lakhs towards my tax expenses and towards other expenses. What I try to do is for my regular expenses, I do not withdraw money from this account, but for taxes, I have to make periodic withdrawals. So every month, I withdraw between 3 to 6 lakhs and overall have withdrawn. This is my settlement, quarterly settlement, transferring the cash back in. Every month, these withdrawals, so on and so forth. So settlement and then adding the money back and so on and so forth. From a cash perspective as well, actually my equity holdings were quite less. At the beginning of the year, it was close to 50% equity and 50% in a mix of cash, debt and gold. As of now, that equation is more towards 65% in equity and 35% in cash, debt and gold. And let me go straight into the portfolio itself first. So the portfolio here, the thing is, this is considering non-cash. So you have to understand that as of today, and also there's something wrong here. It's not considering my cash component in this account value. For some reason, it is showing as though I have withdrawn all my cash. So as of yesterday, cash balance is showing 98 lakhs. As of today, cash balance, it's not showing at all. So some issue with Zerodha. But you can see in my funds, I have cash balance here of 1 crore. So it's not like any settlement has happened. So going into the portfolio, as of now, in among the holdings, 76% is in equity. It's saying 18% is in debt and gold is 6.2%. I will show you what the holdings look like, right? Liquid B's, see, Liquid B's gives almost no return, but the reason is I want to have this cash so that in case there's ever any steep fall in the market, I'm able to liquidate this, even though it's giving me hardly 3% return or something. I will have this cash when I require it to buy. And when you see this unrealized P&L, this you have to keep in mind is from about 20th of April, because all of these shares, the buy averages would be based on what I transferred the shares to this account at, which is on 20th April. Of course, through the year, I've also added at different points of time. So the average would have actually gone up also. So this is my holding. For gold, I'm holding SGB. For liquid funds, I'm holding Liquid Bs. Apart from that, it's just a mix of Nifty Bs, Bank Bs, and top quality shares. So that is more or less, this is the portfolio. Many people ask me, why don't you go over your portfolio? So this is it. I'm also holding a lot of 1,000 Tanla shares in my ICICI Direct account. That is NSDL, so it's difficult to transfer onto Zerodha, but I will be transferring those here as well, and some Wipro and granules as well. But apart from that, this is more or less my entire portfolio. And the unrealized gain in this, I'll just go over. I think if you want to pause somewhere, you can pause, but this is more or less a summary of what I'm holding. Yeah. So the unrealized gain in this from as of April of last year is 35 lakhs. And as far as realized gain in equity, I took only one trade, one swing trade in cash, that too because F&O ban was there, which is on idea. So on that trade, I booked a profit of 1,75,000, but charges also seem to be quite high on that. Yeah, and I don't know what this other credit of minus 32K is, but anyway, this is the equity, and we come to F&O. So the F&O realized P&L is 2.23 crores with the charges of 25 lakhs, which I'm quite happy with. 10% is very good considering last year, I think financial year ended, my charges were closer to 20%. And yeah, brokerage of 7.8 lakhs, exchange transaction tax is big at 9.36, and then security STT. So you have, and then stamp duty, a little bit of GST, central GST and state GST. So that is the summary. This unrealized is showing minus 32 because I'm holding this was giving me that loss yesterday. Short call on ITC and short call on Reliance. So F&O 2.23 and from equity 37 including the realized gain. So that's about 2.6 crores of gain. From this, of course, I have had to withdraw almost 55 lakhs, and then once I'm done with expensing it out, my idea is that most likely I will keep my tax liability about 55 lakhs and probably try my best to bring it down to the extent I can. But I don't think it would be too much lesser than that. So that is the summary of the year. Now, something I found very interesting is if you want to see what kind of journey I had, what was my mood through the entire period of the year and how things really played out. One good way of knowing is going through this playlist, because each month when I'm summarizing the month, you can kind of see, okay, where is my psychology at? What am I feeling like? What is my approach? And I'll put it this way. The first 3 months, I was in a great place. The first 4 months, in fact. After that, what started happening is for my trading style and the volume at which I'm trading. So ironically, I was trading 2 times or 3 times my current volume the last financial year with leverage, with hedging benefit. I used to trade a pretty large volume. Even now with hedging benefit, I can trade about 2.5 times my size, but I'm choosing not to. And that also I will go over how I arrived at in this course. So the first 4 months were excellent. I had back-to-back great profits. I think somewhere around September, and specifically, I will tell you exactly where this. So this loss wasn't a problem for me, but it changed something very much in my thinking at that point of time. And it more or less was that this loss on that day, if you watch the video from this date, 30th of September, I caused myself a slippage of more than 10 lakhs. I was squaring off an option at 50 and it executed at 75. I was trading about 40,000 shares. 10 lakhs plus loss instantaneously just because of bad execution. And here I had a little bit of an epiphany, and I don't know. See, people might say that, okay, you made a loss that time, so you went into a bad mood. No, I made a mistake and I didn't have a solution for it. I didn't know what can I do to avoid such a situation, because I was trading big size. I was trading very close to the money. And when I had to exit into momentum, if you see that day, my price existed only for a second. It took me out at the highest price that option made at that day, ridiculously high, and then the price was back down by 20 points. So this loss really shook me up a little bit, and you can see after that I didn't trade. After that I didn't trade. I took a penny trade on expiry, and then again next week also I didn't trade. I took a penny trade on expiry, and that was because I was thinking, okay, what am I supposed to be doing here to avoid such a situation? It's not in my control. It's not that I'm for 1 second at zero profit, zero loss. Next second I'm in 10 lakhs plus loss. So that was a changing point. So that was basically midway through the year. I realized this is not going to work out. I need to do something to improve my execution. And until I do that, either I need to trade for a smaller risk reward. I can't afford to take the same kind of high risks. Like if you see my videos from Jan, Feb, and March, that time I used to be targeting not this year, the previous year, Jan, Feb, and March, I used to be targeting itself 4, 5, 6% sometimes on days. Of course, my account was smaller back then, and I would be willing to risk 2, 3%. But that has not been the style, especially after September. That was nowhere close to the style where I said, okay, you know what, I'm going to trade much smaller. I'm going to trade half to 1/3 of the sizing that I can. And in that, trade with even a lower risk reward. So target generally on expiry is up to 1% and be willing to give up 0.5%. Not because I can't, with leverage, I can compound that edge, right? So if I'm making profit on, let's say, half size, then I should be able to make profit on full size. But the problem is whenever there's an execution error, and I had this multiple times, but this was the breaking point where I'm like, I am getting a bad deal simply because I don't have clean execution for bigger sizing. So after this, I started trading much smaller size. I had a bit of rest months, you can see. So these 2 months, I took it quite easy. And after that, I think from there, it has been an excellent thing. And if we say just for, by the way, now that March is ended. So if I see just for March as well, the realized profit for March is 31.57 lakhs. So that has been great as well. And one more thing, in March, you can see I've had many losing days. It's almost close to, I think, 40% losing days. But the thing is, how much I've lost on losing days is what is important. I lost 30 rupees here. I lost 1.5 lakhs here. I lost 2.5 lakhs there, and 84,000 there, 1.5 lakhs here, 18,000 there, 57,000 there. So versus the profit quantum and keeping my losses small, that has worked extremely well. And that has more or less been the entire journey of the account this year. So between 2.23 on the F&O side and 37, about 2.6 crores is what my account has gained. And my idea will be, for now, I'm working on ways and means to have better and more efficient execution. Once I'm happy with that, then I will think of scaling size further. Otherwise, I will continue with this approach of, very conservative returns, very limited risk, and try to, even if I'm generating as little as 2% a month, I am extremely happy with that. So that is what it has been. And I think on the investing side also, I did really well. I managed to keep buying into the dips. This is what happens. So you keep cash available, but when people will say you're holding debt and cash, which is doing nothing, it's useless. It's not about how much return it earns. It's about the fact that when you need it, you have available money to buy. When the market is panicking, look, if I don't have cash, and I had a plan, I said, okay, when we were below the 200 DMA, I said, every 200 points, I'm going to be buying for almost 10 to 15 lakhs. And that was my plan. Now, if I don't have cash, I will feel scared, but I know that I have cash. And even if I keep buying, let's say till we reach 14,000, which when we went to 15,600, potentially people were talking about 14,000 levels, right? Even if we go there, I have money to buy. And because my portfolio is long-term and something that I don't plan on selling, something that I don't plan on getting rid of at any point, because I have faith in the quality of companies that I'm holding, at least wherever my majority chunk is there. I have some complete micro caps and small caps, which might as well end up doing nothing. But majority of my money is in high quality companies. I know they'll do well, so I don't mind averaging them down. So that's about it. That's the summary for the entire financial year. And today's trade summary as well. It is after closing my trade, I shorted some calls against my portfolio. I'll see what to do about those later. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you had an excellent financial year. I wish you all the best for the next financial year. And thank you so much for all the support that you've given the Nifty BN channel and all the great feedback that we've got on different social media platforms, be it Twitter or YouTube. So thank you all for that, and have an excellent weekend. I will catch you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.